And honestly, I've been a little bit afraid to eat over the weekend because the fullness is so crazy. My caloric intake is probably over the week even less than it was before, but the fullness is so much more pronounced compared to before running Increlex. But of course, at the end of the week, I also get more watery. Vigorous Steve here with the Increlexable Updates. I got my blood work this morning, and even though I'm going to Japan a couple hours from now, I figured I'd rub one out for you guys because everybody seems to be patiently waiting to get facialized with some highly expensive peptides. Before I give you the cum shot, please like the video, leave a comment for the algorithm, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And if you want to support the channel, you can do so by joining either YouTube or Patreon memberships, or you can vote for upcoming deep dives and join the weekly Vigorous Q&A, which is not going to be next weekend because I'll be in Japan on holiday, but certainly the weekend, the Saturday after that. Okay, long story short about the protocol, I've been on Increlex at various dosages for 10 days in total. The first day, I administered 50 micrograms bilaterally, 100 micrograms in total. Then the second day, 100 micrograms bilaterally, 200 micrograms in total. The third day, 200 micrograms bilaterally, 400 micrograms in total. And then from the fourth day onwards, up until the 10th day, which was yesterday, I won't take it today, 500 micrograms in total, either 250 micrograms bilaterally or 500 micrograms upon waking subcutaneous, which isn't really a good idea, I'll tell you that, but we'll dive into that a little bit later on. Let's go over the positive effects that I've experienced so far. My pumps have increased. My overall fullness has increased. Let me give you guys a preview. This is without steroids in the pictures. Recombinant FSH, recombinant HCG, and, a little bit of nicotinamide mononucleotide and glutathione for overall energy levels and antioxidant status. So I feel like I'm on cycle based on the fullness, the strength, and the pumps that I have. I literally jumped up in as little as 10 days, 2 increments on most of the machines and the exercises that I've been doing, albeit that the pump sometimes is so severe that instead of doing the usual 9 to 12 reps, I can muster 6, which is pretty similar to what I used to do on cycle, let's say 8 months ago, when I was at peak strength. I can muster 6 reps, and after that, I completely lose contractile capacity. So I do half reps or partials. It looks kind of nasty. The first 6 reps are absolutely stellar, deep, intense contraction to the point you feel your muscle is going to explode. And after that, I kind of lose it. So I do partials, right? I increase my training volume from 2, let's say, working sets with 2 or 3 reps in reserve. Again, I'm not using anabolic androgenic steroids. I need to have some reps in reserve so I can actually recover from that. On my 2,500 calorie diet, which is basically poverty calories for the size that I am, 100 kilos, 225 pounds. But now that I've increased my training volume, I've also gotten fuller. Again, it's all because of the Increlex. So I'm getting Anavar-like response, Trenbolone-like response, Anadrol-like response, insulin-like response without taking Anavar, Anadrol, Trenbolone, or insulin. Crazy. So I've basically gone from 2 working sets to 3 working sets per exercise, but I did split up my workout from a 3-day split, a push-pull leg split with an A-B routine. So the A workout for the push-pull legs is different from the B workout, to a push legs, pull legs workout. The first leg day is quad dominant, and the second leg day is hamstring and glute dominant, because if I do quads, hamstrings, glutes, calves on the same workout with the increased training volume and the increased fullness, I'm going to be there for 2 hours, and by the time I get to calves, it's not really that productive anymore. So I decided to split that up. So instead of a 3-day split, I now have a 4-day split, which I've been doing exactly for about 2 weeks now. So I changed my training protocol a little bit, but my diet hasn't changed. The performance enhancing drug protocol and my overall supplementation protocol hasn't changed, besides adding in the Increlex. Now, the problem with 500 micrograms Increlex upon waking is that by the end of the day, you're so full and you're so watery that you don't really look cosmetically appealing. And even though I'm doing daily fasted cardio and paying extra special attention to my electrolyte intake, and honestly, I've been a little bit afraid to eat over the weekend because the fullness is so crazy. My caloric intake is probably over the week even less than it was before, but the fullness is so much more pronounced compared to before running Increlex. But of course, at the end of the week, I also get more watery. So cosmetically, I don't really look good, I would say, even though my body fat levels have come down quite significantly. When I compare the before and after pictures, I look fuller, but also more watery and more like a Michelin man. So I'm not going to post those. Give me another month on Increlex when I get back from Japan. Again, this is what I look like. If you want to have a full body shot with clothes on, go to my Instagram page. I posted, 3 pictures yesterday, and everybody said I looked freaking huge and the Increlex is working. I'll link it down below in case you're interested. So that's basically all the effects that I've experienced so far. Besides that, I feel that my stamina has improved. I'm breezing through these workouts faster than before, even though my volume has increased with a couple more sets following a back off set strategy. So I do 6 reps, aiming for 9. Then the first back off, I try to get 9 to 12 reps. And then the third back off, or the second back off based on the first one, I try to aim for 9, 12, or 15 reps, right? Depending on how full, how pumped, and how much energy, which again, I don't have so much energy because my carbohydrate intake is, trace amount, 50 to 70 grams post-workout. And I didn't really reload in the weekend because I was afraid to get mad bloated. So, I'm doing my best I can, but even though the training intensity and the amount of volume has increased, the rest duration between working set has shortened dramatically. I don't really feel so much out of breath following a strenuous sets, which are bordering on a training to failure. Again, the last couple of reps are so pumped that the contractile capacity is a little bit diminished. The rest duration has shortened so much to the point I'm now finishing my workouts, let's say 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes earlier. So I come home and my wife's like, why are you already back? I said, well, I did my workout and then some. So, I'm noticing a lot of benefits. The downside, besides the first downside that the pumps might be so excruciating following particular sets, is that I do feel that my waist has grown a little bit, but it's actually very similar to how it would be on a normal cycle of anabolic androgenic steroids. Again, I'm coming from basically being off cycle for 7-8 months, a completely fresh physique, and then you sprinkle in a little of anabolics and you get a stellar response. That means that all of my muscles have filled out. My jawline has filled out. I mean, it looks more pronounced to me compared to, let's say, 10 days ago before I started the Increlex. It feels that everything is filled out, including my intestines. So, that might be a little bit off-putting to some people, albeit that, of course, I'm going to keep accurate track of how my waistline is changing over the next couple of weeks when I get back to Japan and I, run Increlex for another 4 weeks, give or take. I'll keep track of it. Aaron, who's also running 500 micrograms Increlex per day, hasn't really noticed that. But to be fair, he's also on a boatload of steroids at around 2 grams, give or take, per week. And growth hormone and insulin he added in the IGF-1 while simultaneously eating around 4,500 calories per day. So I think his waist was already a little bit bigger than a baseline waist, let's say on a cruise dose without the GH and the insulin and copious amounts of food. He hasn't really noticed that. Maybe his intestines have grown to the maximum extent, and I'm noticing it more pronounced because I basically came from 0 before adding in the Increlex. So without further ado, let's go over my blood work. Actually, most of the stuff is pretty much the same. The blood chemistry and the kidney function is the same. The lipids are pretty much the same. The liver function is pretty much the same. The complete blood count and the urinalysis, pretty much the same. The iron level is pretty much the same. The only thing that I noticed are my thyroid markers have changed quite significantly from August 13th to September 1st, which is yesterday when I did blood work. But to be fair, on August 13th, I fasted for 5.5 days. So these thyroid markers might not be actually representative of where they are normally, but when I go through all of my other thyroid panel, there's still quite a bit of a difference. Let's say 5 to 10, maybe even 15% compared to the blood work results that I got from yesterday. So you see the total T3, free T3, total T4, and free T4 all have changed. Besides total T4, that stayed pretty much the same. So that's an increase between 10 to 17%. And I would say compared to my previous blood work results where I was running this entire fertility protocol without the Increlex, I would say give or take it's a change of, let's say 5 to about, 15%. Thyroid stimulating hormone has come down slightly, albeit that 2.44 to 2.1 micro IUs per milliliter is actually pretty similar to where they are on various blood work results that I've gotten over the last couple of months. So it is of note that some of the thyroid results have changed, have increased. Maybe there's an effect on thyroid binding globulin that I haven't really had time to research regarding Increlex and exogenous administration of pharmaceutical IGF-1.